You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Treebor Soft Mints, bringing a softer, mintier feel to your Saturday morning.
Absolute Radio.
Boston! Hoorah! What a fabulous start. That was Boston by Blur, but not by Blur as in Damon Thingy.
Damon Albarn.
But Bleu, you see. And that's from his new album, Blur 4. Which I've never heard of him before. Somebody sent me the CD and I just loved it, don't you know? This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily and Gareth. Chris Addison is our guest today. He's a funny man,
like him.
talent. He was on the Oscars.
Very youthful.
He was on the Oscars with his movie.
Very young looking.
Very young looking, but don't hate him for that, Em.
I do.
And you can text us on 8 12 15 about anything except aeronautics. That's this morning's taboo subject. So that was Emma, our producer, laughing in the background. Her contract must be coming up for renewal.
She's the other taboo subject, because she and I are having an SDN this morning.
Oh yeah, they are dressed exactly the same.
Same dress nightmare. It's awful. It looks like a polygamist thing going on here.
Same cardigan, same T-shirt, same jeans.
Different labels, though. Anyway.
Yes, as I said before, I feel like Lorraine Kelly saying, and see, it looks just as good from the Hay Street shops. But, yes, actually, polygamists don't get their wives to dress the same, do they?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yes, I've seen them in America.
I think that's just
states.
multiple weddings you're thinking.
No, they do.
Oh, no.
There were different versions of a frog.
You'd have to have different sizes, and that's going to be...
That's going to be the awkward
Anyway,
moment.
talking of appearance, which obviously I love doing, Frank, you're still sporting a bit of guy liner, if I may say.
Yes, I hadn't heard the phrase guy liner before, but yeah, I went, shall I explain? I went to a Halloween party last night, and I thought I'll make a tiny effort. So I put some, I got my girlfriend to do my eyes, as they say.
I rather like... Gareth and I were invited. You made it sound like we weren't, but we were there.
Well, as you didn't make any effort to look Halloween, I didn't bother mentioning it. So I did that thing, I sort of put bright... The lipstick has stopped me from speaking! I put bright red lipstick on, and then I rubbed it across my face deliberately.
Was that deliberate?
Yeah, I sort of looked like the Joker's dad. If you can imagine the Joker's dad. In fact, I've been told a few people that I'd come as the Joker's dad. I then got slightly obsessed with the idea of the idea of the Joker's dad having the smeared makeup and saying, yeah, he was a strange kid, I'll be honest with you. Very morose, which for our family is unheard of. He's from the West Midlands, the Joker's dad. I don't know if you knew that.
That explains some things, I think.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
So Gareth went as Gareth.
And I came
You
as...
wore a plait on your hair, as if that was a big gothic, famous monster thing.
No, a lot of men came up to me and said, what have you come as? I said, your worst nightmare. Fair enough. Yeah. That's a Halloween theme, for God's sake.
That is, I'll go with that. Speaking of nightmares, I was on... I'm not saying this in any... I was on Have I Got News For You? Not this week.
You're very good on that, actually.
Oh, thank you so much. Is there a contract coming up as well? Must be the whole lot coming in a big lump. So I did that. I'm not very keen on watching myself on the telly. I'm particularly keen on watching myself on the telly with other people around me, because I tend... If they miss a gag or something, I tend to rewind. And suddenly you've got attention in the room. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I missed the original showing, but last Saturday I was with my girlfriend, her sister, and their mom. Right. So all three Masons were gathered together. I thought I'd explain that, because I didn't want to say I was watching it with the Masons. You imagine if we were doing odd handshakes and I was dressed in entrails. It was that, that extra, the 45-minute version of I Got News For You. So that was on Saturday. We watched X Factor, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd already been shushed during the Wagner interview. Shushed, just in case Wagner said something that, that we missed. So I was a bit on edge, as it was. And then, when I was going to be on, so I thought, well, we'll sit and watch. I said, I'll make the effort, it'd be nice. And my girlfriend says, I quite fancy watching the Cheryl Cole. Could we tape you and watch the Cheryl Cole on Piers Morgan? Well, I said, no, we'll tape Cheryl Cole. And then it's become an issue.
And then you sit down with a sort of, and there's an angry vibe.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, the show came on, and might I say I looked absolutely terrible. I didn't need any makeup for the Hell. I did. I looked like, if you could imagine Hellraiser without the pins. I looked so old and terrible when I came. Perhaps Hellraiser just before he goes to bed. Just took the pins out.
Yourself.
You could imagine a small pile of pins on Hellraiser's dressing table, and he thinks that's me on bed now. Little night cream. I look terrible. Anyway, 5 minutes into the show, both my girlfriend and her sister were fast asleep. Fast asleep.
God.
And their mum was laughing, trying to laugh for three. Really overcompensate. It was a nightmare. I can't, just talking about it now, I've shrivelled at my very inner limits. Is that a phrase? Oh, we'll work it out. Oh, God, I nearly pressed the jingle. What larks.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Never mind that, we've just had a text in saying M25 shot clockwise at junction 20.
Well, I think they've got their own person. Right, yeah, so if you're on the M25, well, not much. Can you do much about it? You can get off. Junction 20, get off before that.
Yeah.
If it's shot from junction 20, surely it's shot at 21, and eventually it's shot back at 19 if you keep going round and round.
Don't talk to me about roads past junction 1. I don't know where they take you.
Anyway, that's some big news we've just received on 8:12.
But no
15.
aeronautics. That's not aeronautics. So it's
No,
absolutely
it's fine on aeronautics. Oh, no, that's okay.
We've had an email from Mike. He said, "My friend, it's
You know,
about
you said there was a
collections."
pause then that there was going to be a surname,
Yeah.
and I hate it. That's like when somebody gets the intonation wrong on the football results.
No, it was like he was famous and he thought better of it. Like maybe it was Mike Batt.
Okay, if you're being discreet.
Yeah.
Mike Batt could be.
Yeah.
Mike Smith. It's Mike Smith.
Yeah.
It's about collections.
That's aeronautics, isn't it? It's in the ballpark.
Oh, God.
Carry on.
My friend used to have a collection of garden birds which he kept in his shed.
Dead or alive?
He used to catch them in the back garden with the bread bin perched on top of an old wooden clothes peg,
Oh, God, we used to do this.
back
What?
attached to a long piece of string.
Well, not with a bread bin. I don't think we had a bread bin. But we had... obviously, we had a bucket of water for the milk. But no, we used to use the old man's riddle. I don't mean my
What?
first is in fish, but not in
What?
star. I mean, he used to have... You know, the riddle soil? Like when you're panning for
Funnily
gold.
enough, no.
Oh, well, you riddle soil...
I know
to
when
get-
you paint your nails.
Yeah, well, he didn't do that. My
Okay.
dad, his nails were all black from industrial accidents. Nevertheless, so we used to get his riddle, and we used to get a bit of stick, and then fishing twine fed down the garden, put a little bit of bread under the riddle, the birds would arrive. My brother, he had like 20 wild birds in a cage in the... You know, there was
Is
an
that
owl.
our key?
There was an owl... Couple of blackbirds, about 20 sparrows, all crammed, you know, shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, you know when the tube, you know the rush hour on the tube, it was like that.
Was it like in Japan when a man pushes them with a stick?
Yeah, exactly. We had a magpie doing that on the outside with an armband, so more of a wing band, so that people could. Now, can I say, if anyone's listening, it's not a good thing to do, but we remember this was the 1960s strokes, like it'd be the 60s, so you know we didn't know any better. We thought smoking was all right and everything. Next.
He said, "I had another friend who had a scrapbook with a collection of Page 3 girls in it.
Oh,
But then he also had every
Oh,
Status Quo album. that
Filthy
had-
sod.
hold on. We had.
Every Status Quo album that had been produced, and all the 2000 AD comics from the first edition.
He's from Birmingham, is he, this bloke? That's
not sure
fine.
he's from-
Come on, he's
I think
got
you
the
sent
Page 3 girl scrapbook, every 2000 AD comic, and every Status Quo album. I think I have a mental picture of this chap. That'll be Steve, will it?
He tried,
Steve from Digbeth. I think I know him.
he tried to sell his collection to me once, but I turned him down. Wished I'd bought the comics, but he wouldn't split up the deal.
I love that he wouldn't split up the deal.
Yeah, it's difficult. Job lot or nothing.
Yeah.
I wonder what's happened now to... I mean, I can't imagine what kind of man would keep a scrapbook of Page 3 girls.
And a Status Quo album.
Still.
And what's the positive point in putting them together? I mean, I don't think that adds
Well, like
to
I
the
say, I
value.
think that you will find a person who would definitely... I mean, you know, they're out there. In fact, 38-year-old male, black T-shirt. I think most of them listening to Absolute. The bids will come flooding in.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had an invitation. Well, I say we. It was actually addressed to Ben Jones, I've now seen.
Well, it's a little previous.
Hi, Ben. I know it's a bit cheeky.
Ben Jones will be here at 10 o'clock on Absolute Radio.
But I'm part of the East Kent Historical Organisation, and we're putting on a free family show at the Share in Coulterfield and Herne Bay tonight.
And Ben's been invited
Free
to
for
that?
all the family. Yeah,
You'll be there,
there's
don't worry.
real Vikings fighting,
My money
real
says
zombies,
he's free. Oh, you'll be free.
and a burning village.
A burning village?
Yeah. Oh dear, I don't like the sound of that.
Real Vikings and real zombies. East Kent is famous for zombies.
Yeah. And
Part-
Ben's been
important part of
invited. No
history.
invite to us, you know.
No, we're not invited.
Good,
it's
I'm not
only
going
Ben
anyway.
Jones.
I got things on. So, well, the telly. Never got 3D telly. I don't go out much, to be honest. No need. 3D. You know, the world is 3D, so who needs to go and... I did go out, though. I went to the theatre the
Oh,
other
did you?
night. Yes. And, you know, one of my favourite things is spotting, not like your big star celebrities like Madonna. I like the people who are a bit more... people who you see and you think, oh, God, and then you go straight home and get on Wikipedia. And
Oh,
think,
I know those
"Oh."
ones.
Niche.
Yeah, I'm calling them sort of wiki faces.
Oh, I like it. Bit wacky races.
Yeah.
Faces.
Wiki faces. For example, Linda Barron was in the play.
I love Linda Barron.
You know, Nurse Gladys Emanuel. Oh, it's
Yeah.
not often you see bumpers like that on a Morris Minor. She was in it. Michelle Detrice. Who
yes.
Who I like to call Ooh Betty.
Now, Roy Detrice's daughter.
Yes.
And she was married to the Equaliser as well.
Was she really?
Yeah, she was. The late Equaliser.
Graphic.
The late Equaliser. Was it Stoppage Time? And
That's an awesome joke.
it sounded fabulously. It sounded rehearsed, didn't it? But no one will ever know the beautiful spontaneity of it. It's gone now. Let it lie. And
I saw outside of a theatre recently. You know, in Keeping Up Appearances, Hyacinth Bouquet's neighbour.
Oh, yes, I do know.
Yeah, and people were taking pictures with her, and she looked very tired and harried.
Oh.
And I thought I wanted to go up to her and say, you're
when you
doing
say
really
Harry,
well.
do you mean she was ginger and dressed as a Nazi?
Oh, God.
Well, what about this for a...
Switchboard's lighting up again.
But what about this for a wiki face? Who did I meet at the party? Cecil Parkinson.
Oh, I
Come
love
on,
him.
get in! I said when I met him.
Can I just say...
In case you don't know, he
I'm
was
Googling
what was he? Minister of Transport
Oh,
or
Minister
something
for something or other.
in the Thatcher government.
He had a bit of a scandal.
He did have a scandal, but I didn't bring that up.
Oh, good boy.
No,
he was something for me, I thought. Very me.
I tell you, he's in great shape. He must be 70. He's in immaculate
Little bit
shape.
oleaginous.
I don't know oleaginous. Is he the bloke who was in Back to the Future too? But I'll tell you who else was there. Louis Spence
Right.
and Jason from Dancing
The
on Ice.
Argonauts. Jason from Dance. Oh, yes, I think I know him. Has he had the bad teeth work done? Yes,
I don't
think
know.
Okay.
I think he's a homosexualist,
Yeah, I
famous
think he might be, yeah.
high-profile
Yes.
homosexualist.
Dancing
Yeah.
on Ice.
Yeah. And I thought there's two people who are destined to be wiki faces, aren't they? But they're not quite. They're still in the moment. They're still in their glow. But it's all right, you know. I mean, I've gone slightly wiki face myself. I think it's an okay place to be. But Cecil Parkinson, I'm going to put
I
a
love
points
him.
thing for wiki faces. He's like the old I Spy books. He's got to
He
be.
really is.
He's got to be a 7.
What about Jeff Brazier, Passport Control Mexico? That was my spot once.
Well, that's good. A good context
Yeah.
as well. Good. Or, yeah, perhaps extra
Mexico.
points for
I think
context.
so.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
I saw a guy on the tube, and I thought, I know him, and he looked like a student, and I thought I must have done a gig that he was organising, but I feel like I know him really well. How do I... And he was one of the people on the Junior Apprentice.
Oh.
I nearly went up and said, but that would have been not good.
No.
What?
said,
He'd
"Do
have
I-"
loved it.
I said, do I know you? And he would have said, oh, I was on the Junior Apprentice. And I would have gone, well, yeah.
I was on the Junior Apprentice once.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
She didn't tell anyone.
Oh, God.
I'm terribly sorry, everyone. At least I didn't do that thing about the bacon slice. Anyway, so you can text us on 81215 about anything. Maybe you've met a wiki face in an odd little place.
Yeah.
That you can tell us about. And Chris Addison as our guest today. What other news? Oh, yeah, Junction 20 on the M25 is still shut. In fact, it's partly open now. You could get a push bike down there, but not a full-blown automobile.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute
Radio.
Frank, you know you were talking about wiki faces earlier.
Oh, I certainly was.
We've had a text in. Someone's got their very own wiki face. Chris Biggins walked into my dad's funeral by mistake.
Oh, God.
That is a wiki face and a half.
Oh, so many things are wrong with that. A very solemn occasion. Perhaps the least solemn person in the world. The man least associated with seriousness on the planet. And Chris Biggins.
I like the familiar. Yeah, very
He
familiar.
obviously stayed for a sandwich. got quite friendly with him.
He might have seen some champagne. He loves the champagne.
But was he actually looking for another funeral, or was he? I mean, he could have been.
Maybe
dressed
he's
up.
a bit of an ambulance chaser. He just likes a party with an atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was a bit of an atmosphere when Chris Biggins turned up. Still, Safari's a goodie.
Oh.
Paul from Essex said Lisa Benjamin from EastEnders. She
No,
once
Lucy
shot-
Benjamin,
Lucy,
darling,
sorry,
not
yeah,
Lisa.
Lucy, sorry.
Oh, messed up the whole thing. See, that's the problem of being a wiki face. People get your name wrong. Go on, Lucy
Yeah.
Benjamin. I know her. Yeah.
She once shot Phil Mitchell doing her big shop in Tesco's.
I like.
She once saw Phil Mitchell.
She once shot.
Phil
I
Mitchell.
like she
Yeah.
once shot Phil Mitchell.
Just the once.
There was any need
It was
for
a warning, more of a
Paul
warning.
to qualify it with the once.
Shopping where?
Doing her big shop in Tesco's.
Oh, a big shop.
Oh.
Not just she hadn't just nipped in with a basket on the forearm.
No, not a corner shop.
Oh, I'd like to see what Lucy Benjamin's big shop entailed.
I once saw Henry Kelly, the host of Going for Gold, in a pub near Hampstead. He was significantly taller than he looked on TV. Pub served a nice pint of Guinness too. Paul in Glasgow.
Well, he's Irish, of course, so it's all fallen into place. I wonder if he'd have the courage, in the context of being out on his own in a pub, to say to someone, "What am I?" You're really laying yourself open, aren't you? I must say.
Sorry, can I read this wiki face?
Yeah.
I saw a rather embarrassed Carl Howman waiting outside the changing rooms in John Lewis, Bluewater, Nicola from Bexley.
Wasn't he in changing rooms?
He was brushstrokes man, Carl Howman.
Oh, how
Do you remember him? The
What is
brushstrokes-
changing rooms?
Oh yes, oh
The brushstrokes man. And, Frank, I know how you'll know him. He does that dance.
I know him. I went to Africa with him.
Did you?
Not just me and him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Me and him went out there lion hunting. It was fabulous.
Do you know who he looks like now? He looks like the guy on Celebrity MasterChef who has the glasses and the grocery.
What, Raymond Blanc?
No, not Raymond
I
Blanc.
thought you were moving. I thought that was going to be a sly. Oh, I know how to get it in.
Oh, he likes to get him in.
I thought it was going to be that, but no. No, the bloke with glasses on MasterChef. Now, of course, God, not even a face, just a description, a wiki description. That's not going to work at all. Yeah, I'll tell you what I thought would be a nice thing to introduce on the show. A sort of reasons to be cheerful.
Reasons to be cheerful.
We know when something just happens in life and you think, oh, and you feel all warm.
The jingles are flying all over the place today.
Oh, John Jingle. We're getting near Christmas.
Yeah?
And I passed two homeless people sitting on the street.
Oh, that's reason to be cheerful.
Yeah, they had like can each, and they both looked a bit like they were no strangers to their own urine. I'll be straight with you. I mean, they weren't like the sort of you get some homeless people who look like they could be just collecting an MTV award, and you think, well, you've got more expensive trainers on than I have. You get no money. Make an effort. In
fairness, most people have more expensive trainers on than you have.
Well, exactly. Anyway, these two guys were hardcore. And as I went past, one was saying to the other, I must say I really enjoy your company. And I love that.
Reasons to be cheerful.
That really made me very cheerful indeed. So thanks. If you listen, you won't be.
Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you know you were talking about wiki faces earlier.
Oh, I certainly was.
We've had a text in. Someone's got their very own wiki face. Chris Biggins walked into my dad's funeral by mistake.
Oh, God.
That is a wiki face and a half.
Oh, so many things are wrong with that. A very solemn occasion. Perhaps the least solemn person in the world. The man least associated with seriousness on the planet. And Chris Biggins.
I like
Not
the
Christopher.
familiar. Yeah, very
He
familiar.
obviously stayed for a sandwich. got quite friendly with
He
him.
might have seen some champagne. He loves the champagne.
But was he actually looking for another funeral, or was he? I mean, you know, he could have been.
Maybe
dressed
he's
up.
a bit of an ambulance chaser. He just likes a party with an atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was a bit of an atmosphere when Chris Biggins turned up. Still, Safari's a goodie.
Oh.
Paul from Essex said, Lisa Benjamin from EastEnders. She
No,
once
Lucy
shot-
Benjamin,
Lucy,
darling,
sorry,
not
yeah,
Lisa.
Lucy, sorry.
Oh, messed up the whole thing. See, that's the problem of being a wiki face. People get your name wrong. Go on, Lucy
Yeah.
Benjamin. I know her. Yeah.
She once shot Phil Mitchell doing her big shop in Tesco's.
I like.
She once saw Phil Mitchell.
She once shot.
Phil
I
Mitchell.
like. She
Yeah.
once shot Phil Mitchell.
Just the once.
There was any need?
It was
for
a warning, more of a
Paul
warning.
to qualify it with the once.
Shopping where?
Doing her big shop in Tesco's.
Oh, a big shop.
Oh.
Not just she hadn't just nipped in with in a basket on the forearm.
Not a corner shop.
Oh, I'd like to see what Lucy Benjamin's big shop entailed.
I once saw Henry Kelly, the host of Going for Gold, in a pub near Hampstead. He was significantly taller than he looked on TV. Pub served a nice pint of Guinness too. Paul in Glasgow.
Well, he's Irish, of course, so it's all fallen into place. I
Oh,
wonder if he'd
yeah.
have the courage, in the context of being out on his own in a pub, to say to someone, "What am I?" You're really laying yourself open, aren't you? I must say.
Sorry, can I read this wiki face?
Yeah.
I saw a rather embarrassed Carl Howman waiting outside the changing rooms in John Lewis, Bluewater, Nicola from Bexley.
Wasn't he in changing rooms?
He was a brushstrokes man, Carl Howman.
Oh, how
Do you remember him? The
What is
brushstrokes-
changing rooms? Is
Oh,
that-
yes, oh!
The brushstrokes man. And, Frank, I know how you'll know him. He does that dance.
I know him. I went to Africa with him.
Did you?
Not just me and him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Me and him went out there lion hunting. It was fabulous.
Do you know who he looks like now? He looks like the guy on Celebrity MasterChef who has the glasses and the grocery.
What, Raymond Blanc?
No, not Raymond Blanc.
I thought you were moving. I thought that was going to be a sly. Oh, I never had to get it in.
Oh, he likes to get him in.
I thought it was going to be that, but no. No, the bloke with glasses on MasterChef. Now, of course, God, not even a face, just a description, a wiki description. That's not going to work at all. Yeah, I'll tell you what I thought would be a nice thing to introduce on the show. A sort of reasons to be cheerful.
Reasons to be cheerful.
You know, we know when something just happens in life and you think, oh, and you feel all warm.
The jingles are flying all over the place today.
Oh, John Jingle. You know, we're getting near Christmas.
Yeah?
And I passed two homeless people sitting on the street.
Oh, that's reason to be cheerful.
Yeah, they had like can each, and they both looked a bit like they were no strangers to their own urine. I'll be straight with you. I mean, they weren't like the sort of, you know, you get some homeless people who look like they could be just collecting an MTV award, and you think, well, you've got more expensive trainers on than I have. You get no money. Make an effort. Make an
Well,
effort.
in fairness, most people have more expensive trainers on than you have.
Well, exactly. Anyway, these two guys were hardcore. And as I went past, one was saying to the other, you know, I must say I really enjoy your company. And I love that.
Reasons to be cheerful.
That really made me very cheerful indeed. So thanks if you listen, you won't be.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, the softest, mintiest show in town. Sponsored by Tree Bar Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
Talk Coldplay. That's computer love, computer, isn't it? It's a sample from
Is it?
Kraftwerk.
Frank, we've had a text in from Ray in Nottingham, who's one of my regular clients. Hi guys, I was hoping you could help me. My beautiful Lakeland Terrier was scared off last night by a firework. As an avid listener of the show, I was hoping you could put a notice out and try and help me find him. I don't know if he listens to the show, but the poor little dog.
Well, he won't be listening, but there might
No.
be people in Nottingham who see a terrier. If you see a terrier going past, wrestle it to the ground. If it's a Lakeland, if it's a Staffordshire bull, I'd stay well back. Yeah, well, let's hope. Keep us in contact with that, Ray, because let's hope he's not heading for Junction 20, the M25, as he's going to have a bit of bad luck. He'll be at the entrance going, just scratching at the exit. There you go. If you're leaving the M25 on a Lakeland Terrier, that's the experience you'll be having. Garrett's holding up a piece of newspaper.
That's like Neville Chamberlain.
It's like being back in our old toilet in the 1960s. Go on.
I've got Jedward said some funny things this week. They always say funny things.
They're funny, Jedward.
They're very funny.
We should get them on, do you think?
We should. If we could have Jedward on, I think it would be.
They're saying it like I had a dream. I have a dream. If we could have Jedward on.
Peace in our time.
Yeah.
I've got a quote from them. We don't need a girlfriend, says John. Edward adds, having a girlfriend would be like cheating on our fans. That girl would become endangered.
Yeah. I like that. They're self-sacrificial. But weren't they being bullied at Heathrow Airport? That was what I read about them this week.
They were complaining about airport security. They said that they were mocked and derided.
They were mocked.
Yeah.
And derided.
Yeah.
Well.
They tried to get one of them to take their trousers off.
I can understand why they'd be a hazard at the security.
But also mocked, derided, someone made them take their trousers off. Welcome to my world, honey.
Yeah, but you take the shoe bomb out. I mean, you could get some extensive explosives in those things that they wear. The high trainer.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, you could get an Armalite.
They're a walking security alert.
Well, they should have a route through the hair as well, because you could, in that quiff.
Well, the amount of gel. I mean, if I tried to take a porcupine on a commercial flight, I'd be stopped. I think you'd agree, because there's an argument that I could maybe threaten a stewardess with it. Get kneel on her chest and hold the
couple
quill.
Of spines in the face.
Yeah, quilt at the throat. You could do that. I reckon you could hijack a plane with either John or Edward. Just hold them so they're head first. I mean, what about when you're in the dinghies?
Oh, yeah.
You don't want them leaning back. Of course, if the plane goes down, we'd all have hair like Jedward, so...
They said they're being unnecessarily searched and they're having to... But we all have to do these things. We all have to put our boots in the tray. I hate the tray. Don't you hate the tray they give you?
I don't like the tray. I don't like
It's like some 1950s prison. You put slop on. Surely they must have something more sophisticated than that old grey tray.
I don't like handing over my
grey
shoes
tray.
as well without getting a pair of bowling shoes back. That just seems morally incorrect to me. And taking out the laptop separately.
Why do we have to do
You've
that?
got an X-ray machine. We don't have to take things out of the back. That's the whole idea.
And that has to go in another tray. And then you get the mini tray, more like a Petri dish, where you put all your
for
jewels.
loose change?
No, that's for my jewels.
Oh, you're for your
Yeah,
jewels?
Yeah. They make you put jewels in there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really travel with jewels, normally.
And then a tiny little bag to put all your stuff... How do you fit any stuff in that bag, Em?
The Plazzy bag.
You must have so much stuff.
I come
Putting that
prepared.
way.
I think you carry more than 100 millilitre of almost every fluid. Yeah. So what do they do with the jewels? Are they...
The jewels, well, they have to put them... I don't know why, presumably because they'll set off the alarm.
Does somebody judge jewels? I'm terribly sorry, everyone. Anyway, Chris Addison is our guest today. And you can text us on 81215. And apparently Junction 20, clockwise on the M25, it's shut, but what they've got, it's not so much shut, there's a beaded curtain over the exit, and it goes sort of when you drive through it, and it's not one of those that's just the linen
That's a great
strips.
idea.
Yeah.
That would be better than speed bumps. It would make you slow down, wouldn't it?
Because, there could, for all you know, there could be a line of school children crossing not 2 feet behind it, so you'd have to be careful.
Frank, I love the beaded curtain idea.
Well, there you go. If the Ministry of Transport are listening, I'm happy to just give that up for the people.
We only have this excerpt. This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
Crowded house. It's only natural. Oh, God, I've used that line a few times. So this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and Chris Addison is our guest this morning. He'll be along soon.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
And you like them all. You like the boys, let's face it.
I don't like them all, actually.
Who don't you like?
Let's not go there.
Okay.
I've got time for that, Liz.
So,
Crowded house. I was on a crowded train this week.
Now you see...
Oh! He went a bit Titchmarshian.
No, but that's good. We don't have enough of that kind of stuff on this show.
Slickness is what we need.
Yeah.
That's what's holding us back.
You're on a crowded train.
Yes.
How was that?
Well, it was half term, so all the kids, everyone had their kids out.
Right.
Oh,
And
great.
there was a very harassed parent.
What time of the day was this?
It would have been, it was the morning, it would have been about 11 o'clock.
Okay, I think we've got a picture of it.
At the scene. Picture, if you will.
What route? What route were you on?
I got on at Bournemouth and going into Waterloo.
Is that BOMO? We call it BOMO.
The 1022.
I
into
call it
Waterloo
Wolo.
from Bournemouth.
Oh, I met Waterloo.
Wolo.
Wolo, yeah.
Wolo Sunset. Yeah, no, we should all call it that from now on.
Anyway, meanwhile...
back to the narrative. You see, well, he drips away. If you leave a gap, he'll drip straight down it.
I want to get back to Carriage F. I'm assuming it was Carriage F.
Imagine, if you will,
Not A.
the two table seats. So, with the 4 seats round. And on
We're
one
familiar
there
with
was-
the layout of the train.
There were two older ladies who was planning something. They had pieces of paper with lists on.
They were planning
They
something.
were planning something. I didn't get
I don't
to
like the sound of this.
honestly.
Is this the ink cartridge bombers?
Honestly, I did my best to work out what they were talking about.
Yes.
But I couldn't find out. I apologise
That's
to
okay.
you and the listeners. But and on the other table there was a man,
That's overdue.
and I sat behind the man,
Yeah.
and the man was smelly.
Oh.
He was a smelly man, and I thought, can I be bothered to move away from this
Can
smelly
you be bothered
man?
to mention it? I thought you were going to say. Excuse me, you've never met me before. That'd take great courage, wouldn't it, to do that?
Well,
okay,
Not really, I do it on a daily
of,
basis.
what kind of smell? Are we talking BO smelling?
Sort of a musty, unwashed
Must
smell.
like a derelict house.
Yes, that's what he smelled
Like he'd found his clothes on the tube or something. Yeah.
And I thought, should I move? But I've learned from experience that you just get used to it after a while.
Yeah.
It just becomes
I
part of
find
your
with a
world.
very bad BO, it stops being a nasal experience and it starts to get on your chest. Do you know what I mean? You really feel like that person has entered your being.
Yeah.
I always have a scarf, and then I just go, oh, and put the scarf up in front of my nose. That tells them.
I don't think that's not good, is it?
I know.
So a smelly man had entered my being, and a woman with
Now, this is what I call an anecdote.
and a woman with 2 kids came down the carriage.
Oh, this is a new character now.
quite
Enter.
harassed. Yes, new people.
Enter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woman-
Automatic doors.
Lady
Woman with
with
two.
2 kids, and
Okay.
they sat on the 3 seats around the smelly man.
I think I've got the picture.
Yeah.
So we've got
Yeah.
the 2 old plotting ladies.
Plotting ladies.
Plotting
And opposite,
something.
other side of the aisle, smelly man,
Smelly
woman,
man.
2 kids.
Yes.
Okay.
And
The cast is complete.
they
Exeunt followed by a bear.
they settled down, and she obviously realised, oh no, we've sat around a smelly man. And he said something to the little boy. I think it was not.
What did he say to the little boy?
I don't
He
know.
said, "You don't
but
smell at all. What's
It
happened?"
it was something that was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't funny.
Oh.
And so she thought, well, we'll just move sort of over a bit. And she asked the 2 ladies.
Oh, the plotting ladies.
Yes, the plotting ladies.
If you're plotting, you don't want somebody on
You
the
want children
adjacent.
when you're plotting.
No. Did Guy Fawkes take children to the House of Parliament? Did he? Yeah, 'cause be good if he had, though, on a sort of trip. High-vis jackets, holding hands. Just move it. Just stand by the barrels. I'll be with you in a minute.
So she said, oh, do you mind if we sit here? And the women reacted by pulling a face. And
The plotting women, the
plotting
PWs,
women,
should we call them?
yes.
The PWs.
And the woman said,
What manner of face are we talking?
I don't know, I couldn't see.
Well, how did you know they even pulled a face?
Well, let me tell you.
Oh, here comes the denouement.
And the woman with kids said, oh, goodness, look at the face on it.
Well, she might just be unattractive. I'm not sitting by him, he smells. I'm not sitting by her, she's ugly. And this was a woman, fussy in the extreme.
She said, oh, look at the face on it. And then she said, well, we've got a lot to do. Because they were
What the
obviously
PW said.
planning something.
PW1.
Planning woman.
They've got a damn nerve, haven't they, in their terrorist enclave, eh? So, where did she sit then?
And so,
Next to
well,
you?
what she did is she decided she wanted nothing more to do with that carriage, and she walked off down the road with her kids.
Did she? Oh, she's on the road now. Oh, she derailed.
Down the road.
They
Down the
left
road.
from the train and decided to go.
And she said, come on, kids, come on, let's get away from the rude lady. Let's leave the rude lady by herself.
Well, she was
Just
married to
the
one of the plotters.
Only one. She was all right with the other
she
woman.
thought the other one was okay.
She
but
singled
the
out one
with
of the
face,
plotters.
That's what you
woman.
did, divide and conquer.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, I loved it.
Made a lovely omelette the other day. Trick is to make it with butter. Two eggs together, whisk it up.
Too fattening.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Chris Addison has joined us.
Hello.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
Chris, you're on the road.
I am on the road. I've got a big. I've got a Winnebago parked out the front.
Oh, smashing.
Yeah. That I live in now.
Shower or bath?
Well, it depends. I go for if it's moving, a shower.
Yeah, better.
Otherwise, it just gets everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I try and go for a bath as often.
Oh,
as I
good.
can.
Well, that's great. And so you're on tour. You're doing because there must be people. This is perhaps hard to believe who think you're the actor bloke and maybe don't even know about the stand-up.
But it drives me mad that I'm always referred to as the actor Chris Addison in court. Or
Former male model Frank Skinner. That's what I get.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a
Crash
nightmare.
helmets. I did full face.
You were the Stig. This
Yeah,
other
well,
guy's just a just a put on. Well, no, because I've done this for 15 years, but because I did the thick of it, that's what people know me for. I can't really complain about it because
No.
it's bringing people through the door. Which
Well,
is fantastic.
it's a legendary thing.
Yeah, people love it.
It is. It is like it must be great to be part of something that big and popular. I don't know anyone who. I've never met anyone who doesn't like it. We'll have texts,
I
of
think-
course.
Yeah. Oh, there are plenty of people who don't like it. They tend to be of a certain age. But actually, there aren't that many people who. I'm not sure that many people really watch it. It's one of those.
Oh no, I
it's
don't
usually-
watch it. But
Exactly.
it's good to say you like it.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I do like Shakespeare. I never go to the theatre, but I mean, you think he's good. But I've just compared us to Shakespeare. That's bad, isn't it? But I'm not sure how many
It's
people
funnier
actually
than
see it.
Shakespeare, I think we can
Well,
say.
it depends on the
Shorter.
production. Yeah, and it is. But we've also gone for modern dress, a modern dress interpretation of politics.
I wouldn't mind seeing. Now you come to mention it,
Oh,
a
thank
sort of a Tudor version.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be good. Yeah, the
To
thick
go back in time.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, well, maybe we could. I mean, we're running out of ideas. Frankly,
that could
you
be.
can't better the coalition for comedy. So maybe that's where we'll have to go next. Yeah, so it is a strange thing, but yeah. So it feels a bit like this tour is me going. No, this is what I do.
So you did you go to the Oscars because it was nominated?
No.
And you were on the show. There was a clip of you on the show. I thought that's Chris Addison on the Oscars.
On the actual Oscars.
On the actual Oscars. Yeah, do you know what? No clip royalties. Furious.
Oh.
No, I didn't go. It was the writers, quite rightly, who were nominated. So they all went. But but because they're writers and they're not glamorous, they you hear all those things like gifting suites. And and the stars go in and they're have this Rolex.
Yeah.
And so on. And because they're writers, they had a whole different sort of gifting tent. It's a lot shabbier, a bit more like the market used to be in the Bullring, as you remember. People
God,
going,
yeah.
come in, have this chupa chup. It's a much lower rent business. Than
Still
people would
free,
imagine.
though.
Still free, yeah. Who would say no to a free?
I
chupa
went
chup?
to a gifting tent at an all-star baseball game once in
really?
Philadelphia, and I got 4 baseball hats.
And you can only ever wear one at a time.
I never wear them at all, but free.
Free. But
Yeah.
because you just thought that they're free, I will take this.
And I thought I'll give them to people as gifts. I've still got them. Do you want one?
So I'd absolutely love it. I'd
Okay,
love
I'll
it.
get one to you.
Sometimes it seems it's such a weird world the idea that people require gifts.
The gift lounge.
Yeah, the gift lounge or the gift
I saw
bag.
Justin Lee Collins and Courtney Love having an argument over some semi-precious stone in the gift lounge once.
I know exactly which gift lounge
Yeah,
that was.
do you?
That's the comedy award, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know
who
as
needs
well.
a semi-precious stone?
Fabulous it was.
But sometimes because I presented a BAFTA, and after about 2 weeks afterwards, this enormous bag arrived at my house, and it was full of things that make you go. What are you saying? There was one that was it was a Philips electric body hair shaver. Which I didn't know such a thing
Oh,
existed.
somebody sent me one of those. But it wasn't even from a ceremony. I just got one in isolation in the post.
Who does that? Is that a thing men actually do? Do they? I mean, other than professional swimmers and cyclists.
Well, mine's still in the thing, the wrapping.
It's just there. It's just there in the back of the cupboard with 4 baseball
Well,
caps.
but one day, I'm figuring as I get older, I'll take the old ears on.
Well, that...
One morning. We'll be back with more Chris Addison shortly.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Klaxons, Golden Scans, that needs looking into. I'm worried about that title. Chris Addison.
Gordon's a scam.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on.
You don't want to type that in the internet, do you?
No, exactly. Not unless you've got a couple of hours to spare.
yeah.
So, Chris Addison is on the road.
Sure am.
Chris, are you currently touring? You've started?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, this has been most of the year, actually. This is the third and final bit, and I'm about halfway through that.
Is it like Bob Dylan's never-ending tour?
Yes, it is, Frank. Yeah, no, it's good, though. It's
You
really
look
good.
very fresh-faced and happy about it.
Well, that is the prescription medication.
Oh, good.
No, I'm I'm thoroughly enjoying it, but because I haven't, because it's been on the back burner for a little while.
No,
it's been a real.
I've got some... This is me looking for dates. I've got some dates here that... 16th of
You- you
November...
That's the Lowry in Salford.
Yes, that's a nice place, isn't it?
It is lovely, yeah.
Genteel audience, considering it's in Salford.
Well, do you know, the most astonishing thing, 'cause that's where they're going to move the BBC. They're moving a lot of the BBC up to Salford. And Tom Bloxham, who's the big property designer, Urban Splash and all of that thing, sold posters in Affleck's Palace when I was a kid, now does houses. But he's turned a whole sort of block of streets, a bit like Coronation Street, into designer living for executive media types. And this is clearly being sold at the people who are going to go up to Salford. But it's like an island in a sea of scallies. It's unbelievable. They're going to be running the gauntlet every time they go to work. A lot of programming on the BBC is going to become quite dark and bitter and based on burglaries and muggings. That's my feeling.
What, again?
Yeah.
Well,
Seemed like the 60s again.
I like the fact that the boss of BBC North said he won't go, and he's married to Sarah Lancashire, who's the woman from Raquel.
Yeah.
Now, and Raquel doesn't want to go. Now, if
She's just got
Raquel
icon
doesn't
of
want to
the
go
North.
to Manchester, she's actually called Lancashire, and she still doesn't want to
wanna
live
go.
there.
Yeah.
Can't be right. So you're doing that, and then 21st of November, you're at the Bloomsbury in London.
I love the Bloomsbury, yeah.
Are you? How's Edith Sitwell now? Is she-
She's not so bad. She's problems with the blue stockings. They wrinkle in the wash. But
Yeah.
other than that, she's fine.
Quite a long face, I thought. And then you're in Birmingham at the Alexandra on the 26th of November. That's a nice old theatre.
Yeah.
High rather than stretched away from you.
I remember going. I've only ever been in there as a punter, because I was at uni in Birmingham, and but it's just a really odd theatre, isn't it? Because, like you say, it's tall, but it's only about 4 rows back.
Yeah, but that's
It's
good.
weird.
That
It's great.
It's great for a
perfect.
comic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely perfect for a comic. Yeah.
So
Have you seen Frank Starr on the Walk of Fame in Birmingham?
Is there a Walk of Fame in Birmingham?
Oh God,
Is
yes.
it you, Noddy Holder, and Samuel Johnson?
Yes.
Samuel Johnson hasn't qualified yet. That's
Has he
in
not?
some debate. Me and Noddy Alder strolled it. Ozzy Osbourne.
There's a football man as well, Frank. I can't
There's a
remember.
few.
man.
Tony
Yeah.
Brown from West Brom.
Yeah.
And who's the bloke that used to do the Formula One?
It's getting a bit
commentary?
wiki
Murray
faces. Bit wiki
Murray
faces.
Walker, I didn't know he was a...
No, you wouldn't guess, would you? Because he's not saying, oh, no, it's Jockenrindt coming round the corner. Jockenrindt was
Where's
the
it-
first driver I thought of.
Where's the Walk of Fame?
Broad Street.
Do you know
Oh,
a
it's Broad
nightclub?
Street. Oh, right,
There's a
okay.
nightclub called Flares. It's just opposite that.
That is classy.
Yeah.
Well, Broad Street is definitely Birmingham's beating heart of fashion.
Well, sometimes I...
There's no O'Neills and everything.
Yeah, I just drive up Broad Street just to see the sort of sideshow at night when it's the classic
isn't it?
women with hardly any clothes on, lads in just a shirt and all that. Not just a shirt, maybe a little
Well,
later.
later on,
Yeah, but lots of gel, and it's fabulous. It makes me think, youth and all their vibrant lustiness.
Birmingham's such a brilliant city. It's so completely underrated, and when it sometimes does itself no favours. When it redid the Bull Ring and it got rid of all the stuff in Digbeth, and that approach up from St Martin's up. There's a quote. They thought they would put a big quote, something that encapsulates Birmingham, and they could have gone for Johnson. They could have gone for Matthew Bolton. They could have gone for the Lunar Men, any of that stuff. But it's a UB40 quote. UB40 in stone.
What is it? Red wine.
Yeah, I think
forget
that's
myself.
basically yeah. It's advice more than the quote.
What it should say is one more river to cross.
One more
One more
canal.
junction.
Yeah.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
So you're a bit of a radio man yourself, Chris.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. In the shower.
You've done You've done an Absolute Radio show.
I have, yes, I have. I stood in for Ian Lee a couple of times.
How was
on air.
that? Because we have some of the strangest
It was hard.
listeners of all
Some
time.
odd people. There were quite a lot of no people. There was a lot of filling. There was a lot of filling that went on for hours and hours. But it was tremendous fun.
Yeah, I think Ian's gone his crowd, hasn't he?
He certainly has.
Yeah.
he certainly has. But it was I've always wanted to do it because when I was a kid in Manchester, there was a broadcaster, James H. Reeve, who was on Piccadilly Radio back in the day, and he used to do this show between 10 and 1. It meant I was permanently tired at school. I would listen to the whole thing every night. It was a phone-in, and he was astonishing, really amazing. He was my first comedy hero, really.
Right.
And he used to just deal with idiots. That was his shtick, was dealing with idiots. But it wasn't in a kind of shouty way. It was the pithiest, driest little puncturing of their lunacy. And he was wonderful. And so I've always wanted to do...
Does he
radio.
exist online?
I'm not sure if he does.
I'm keen to hear him.
Yeah, I'll find. There's if you type James, he did a show called I can't help it. It was called Nocturnal Emissions. Was the name of the show on Key 103 when it started in Manchester. And yeah, there's a sort of best of. In fact, if you ask Tony Morey, who runs this station or co-runs this station, he will get you a copy of that.
Okay, I will ask
He's a big
him.
old fan.
And
yeah.
Jeff Lloyd is of course one of the great stars of Absolute. He's a good mate of yours.
Yeah, he
as
is.
well,
Yeah, he's one of my.
So you've got
friends.
we've established the Absolute links. Now we
Yeah.
can mention the rival channel.
Brilliant. I'm on the BBC. 5 Live, 7 Day Sunday, 11 o'clock every Sunday. Yeah, me and Andy Zaltzman and Sarah Millican, plus guest.
Both friends of the show, can
Yeah.
I say?
Both friends, brilliant people.
Friend of the show. Yes.
Wow, that is. That is.
You don't get that on Radio 4.
No, you certainly
what
don't.
you've got to aim
I think
for,
one
Chris.
I think one of the things that Radio 4 is missing. I'm not really. It's jingles. Jingles would be much better on the Today.
Oh, you're on
Forward
5. Sorry.
Day.
You're on 5 Live, sorry.
I am on 5 Live. Yeah, which is a news and travel based station with people trying to get a word in between.
Yeah, there's a bit of sport as well.
There's a bit of sport. Yeah, that's not really. You know me. That's not really my.
Chris, can I just ask you something? Are those 3D glasses you've got?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to see what you all look like. Wow,
Do we
these
look
really
3D?
work.
Yeah, they look good.
They really, really work, which is good because the telly that they come from.
You look good with your natural curly hair, the headphones and those shades. You look like Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. I mean, in his youth.
That's what I'm going for.
So you and Jeff Lloyd, also, you wrote the last series of TFI Friday.
Yes, we did, yeah.
That's a
In
fabulous
2001.
fact.
It was an amazing gig. One of the most Elton John was the very last guest because this was when Chris Evans had left, and they did 7 shows with celebrity hosts.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
He's actually existed without Chris Evans.
Yeah, well,
TFI.
because he bailed on it just before they were due.
That sounds unlike him.
Yeah. Wonder how that happened.
The vibes in this building seem to be. But yeah, so they did
What,
it
the
with
madcap broadcaster?
Yeah, madcap moneymaker Chris Evans. But he bailed, and so Channel 4, it was too late for them to get out of it, so they just reduced the number of episodes and got celebrities to host it. And me and Jeff wrote. It was unbelievably good fun. But the last thing we did was wrote one for Elton John. One of the strangest things that's ever happened to me in my life was that because we recorded them as live an hour before they went out, Elton John was quite nervous about how this was going, and I was standing sort of close to him just in case he needed anything in the bar. He was looking through his cue cards on the desk, and he looked up at me, and we'd only said hello to each other, and he mouthed, "Is this okay?" And I found myself doing that, putting your fingers together to indicate it's fine. I was doing that to Elton John, and just in that moment I had a "you are here" revelation. You know?
Yeah.
I'm doing that to Elton John. It was a really strange but
Did
brilliant.
he mean his
experience.
whole lifestyle and career?
Yes, and I said it was okay, and I feel like an enabler now.
I think it's okay, but with some qualifications. Yeah, I mean the extravagant buying of Flora.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember Flora? I don't mean the margarine. Can I point out? I
You mean the
mean the
racehorse?
flower. I mean the flowers. Oh, but it's a brilliant fact about you and your. So look, Chris Addison is on tour at the moment, and go and see him.
Yeah, that would be my advice, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
I concur. I heartily endorse this message.
It's funny, and also it's brain stretching as well as funny.
Is it? It's
Yeah.
not, don't worry, it's not too brain stretching.
No, well,
I can understand it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean more like Johnny Ball than Proust.
More like Johnny. Yeah.
Populist brain stretching.
I'm
Populist.
going to use that for the poster now.
I'm a populist brain stretcher. Yeah, I'm like I'm like QI on Mogadon.
Anyway, thanks very much, Chris.
That's
It's
a pleasure.
great to see you,
You too.
and bring back What the Dickens. For
Yeah.
goodness sake, I love
Yes,
it.
Sky Art.
Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Gorillas. Featuring Sean Ryder.
Yeah, he goes, it's the...
Yeah, I love that though. He's a good man. That was Dare. That's what that was called, just in case anyone at home. And also, the bloke who texted in and said, what was that Sellotape song? Who's it by?
Yeah, Mark wants to know.
Yeah, Mark. It was No Cars, they're called.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, there's a new album out, which is a sort of John Peel tribute thing, and it's a track from that. Now it's all gone very Joe Wiley.
Oh, it has.
Where's me snowboard? Where's me snowboard?
We should say we went to see a band live and that they were good. That's what she always says.
Does she?
And now Furton Cotton says that a lot.
Furton Cotton?
Furton Cotton.
Furton Cotton. Yeah, I'm liking Furton Cotton. It sounds like someone who could have been in Gone with the Wind.
I think it sounds like a Texan swear word.
Why, Furton Cotton, I can't believe you stepped out of line. Yeah, listen, ma'am, I believe I have a right to state my mind. Little scene with Furton Cotton there from Gone with the Wind. Just before we see all that long panning shot of dead soldiers, which I'm not so keen on. Did you see, I'm not a man to talk about the X Factor because everyone talks about it, but the whole mime debate.
Marcel?
Mime Factor. They should do a Mime Factor.
Yeah, mime, eh? What about if they called it, eh? I watched Sherelle Cole on there doing her new single.
Yeah. A lot of hair.
A lot of hair.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of hair. I don't know. Does she have the breast?
I beg your pardon.
Does she have the breast? The breast encouragement.
Yes, she has the breast.
She had the breast encouragement.
No.
She hasn't had that.
No.
Okay. Has she had any?
Terrible trouble if you say that. No.
I'm asking a question. Has she had the binoculars?
No.
Okay.
She's had no procedures.
A lot of makeup, a lot of extensions, miming. I mean, why turn up? Just send us a flat pack, and we'll just put you together ourselves. And
What's she
also,
miming then,
if
Frank?
you're gonna mime, she was miming like there was no tomorrow. And of course, when you've had malaria, there might be no tomorrow.
It comes back. It does. It comes back.
Comes back.
She
Don't
cried
worry, which is more than I can say for Ashley Cole.
She cried on Piers Morgan about that.
Someone cried
Well, I
on
couldn't
Piers
believe
Morgan
it. I
show.
couldn't believe
Well,
my
this is
eyes.
a turn up for the. I feel we should put this out as a stop press.
He's now poking them with a compass to make them cry. He'll stop at nothing.
Piers Morgan is poking Cheryl Cole with a compass.
I got in trouble once for poking a girl with a compass.
I think that's fair.
I think you'll find...
No, it was under the table in English, and I
that's all right.
poked her with a compass, and she screamed, and the English teacher said, "Get out!" And she took me to her office and said, I saw you touch that girl under the table."
Oh. Well, touch. I wouldn't say it was touching.
Yeah, well, the
if you
thing
using
was, what was worse, the fact that I poked her with a compass, or the idea of me touching her in some way?
But were you sharp end or pencil?
Sharp end.
Oh, well, that's wrong.
Why would you do that? You've got a dark
I
side.
thought it'd be funny.
The very dark
I
side to
learned
you.
my lesson.
Someone told me that when you
So
approach a
dark
woman,
side.
you
Where's my
need a
compass?
compass. Anyway,
Anyway, meanwhile, over
yeah.
the
So,
extensions...
and then also the other miming thing
What?
is that she didn't mime it all.
Oh.
Now that's
Tricky.
a mistake.
Tricky.
It's like, you know, when you paint part of a wall and leave the rest, and suddenly it looks very shabby, the unpainted
Oh,
bit. It was
yeah.
like that, because when the real vocals come in, you thought, oh, no.
It all went a bit Katy Perry. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, you can't say that now.
It wasn't a good... She's a lovely
married
looking
into,
girl.
British comedy. You
Well,
can't-
that's true, actually.
She is a lovely looking girl. I just think, maybe her earpiece wasn't working.
Yeah.
I wish mine hadn't been. No, but we all have bad nights, let's face it.
Tell me about it.
Well,
Yeah.
Daisy, our person who works on our show, would
Daisy,
like
our person.
she'd like to apologise to her boyfriend, because apparently when she got back last night, she wasn't very nice to him.
Is that right?
Stuck him with a compass, I think.
Oh, that one.
Is that what happened?
What did you do?
What did you do?
Just a bit mean.
Just a bit mean.
Oh, well, if you're listening, Jermaine, she's full of regret today. Regret,
I love
regret
that, Jermaine,
you may
as
know
well.
is an alco pop.
Also, she had her hair all done up like a ragabilly. I bet she was a bit scary.
She did look
Yeah.
like she looked like Mr. T from a distance. I wish I'd ordered that helicopter.
If she keeps messing you around, Jermaine...
Get off me,
just say.
Jermaine! I ain't getting on a plane!
Yeah, oh, good. Yes, so I disapproved. Basically.
Yeah.
The thing is, that these people, it's like the marathon. At the time you thought only very special people could run a marathon. Now you realise 84-year-old grannies from Glasgow can do it. Now there's people on the telly singing, singing live every week and sounding good. Or postmen and stuff like that. People, learning all that. Then you think, oh, well, clearly everybody can do it. And then the big star doesn't do it. It's just not on. It's not on. I feel I've been let down. And I like Cheryl Cole. She once won Best Looking Girl in Newcastle competition. That's good enough for me. And also Best Looking Girl in the Metro Centre she won.
Really?
She did, yeah. She's had quite an illustrious career. We won't joke about that.
We'll gloss over Sophie on the Bok Poo.
Yeah, well, like I say, you have your bad
Sophie
nights.
on the Buckpoo!
We all have our bad nights.
That was in the X Factor man. But we're live. This is all live. We don't mime.
I think people probably guess this is live. Nobody would edit this then say, that'll do, that'll be fine. So next week, Stephen K. Amos is our guest. Now, you may remember he was supposed to be our guest a couple of weeks ago.
Is he the one that didn't turn up?
He is the one that didn't turn up. But, I believe in a second chance.
Oh.
You can listen to Not the Weekend.
Explain yourself.
You can listen to Not the Weekend podcast, which is available from Wednesday. And Ben Jones is next. He's already arrived. He's got the green hooded top. I'd know
He's
him
gone
anyway.
Green Goblin.
He has gone Green Goblin. So that's about all from us. It's been lovely as ever. Thank you for listening. Thanks for listening anytime. We love you. Good day to you.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Working towards a mintier world with Treebor Soft Mints.
Absolute.